Let's talk Tanya for the 7th of Shevat of a leap year. Today we start chapter 18 of Tanya. Yesterday we finished discussing the long way, which is the first strategy the Alter Rebbe gives for how to deal and successfully deal with the struggle we have against our animal soul. And today we start the short way. And the Alter Rebbe introduces this chapter with the words, Ulotisefes bir bayer hetev milas ma'oid. I want to better explain the word ma'oid, the word very, which is in the pasuk and the verse of Kikari ve'lecha hadavar mi'oid. As we recall, the whole Tanya is based on the verse Kikari ve'lecha hadavar mi'oid, which means Moshe is telling the people that the Torah and the mitzvahs that I'm giving you, it's very practical, it's very accessible, it's very close, you can do it. And the question is, what is the word ma'oid, very, what does it add over here? Moshe could have just as well said, Kikari ve'lecha hadavar, it's practical, it's accessible. When Moshe adds the word ma'oid over here, very, he's telling us that even though there seems to be a path which is accessible, there's another path which is even more accessible, which is very accessible. The path, the strategy, the skill set that we talked about up until this point is something which for most people is attainable, it's achievable, it is karev, it's practical. But the long way depends on using one's mind to develop emotions. And there's a small percentage of people who can't do that. These are people who just, they're not mind people. They're not intellectual thinking people. And by the way, don't confuse that with people with low IQ. It's not connected. You can have people with low IQ, but they are thinking people. They know how to use their minds. There can be people who are very intelligent, and nevertheless, the concept of sitting and contemplating a certain topic or contemplating the greatness of God and thereby developing feelings is something which they feel is impossible for them. So there is a small segment of the population that for whom the long way, which we talked about in the last two chapters, is just not going to work. And for those of us who it does work for, at the end of the day, the long way, as indicated by its title, is long. It takes time. If I have a feeling and I want to modify, I want to change it, I want to refine my emotions, which starts with, as we mentioned, changing my perspectives, changing my thought patterns, that takes time. It takes regularly thinking about it, contemplating it, connecting to the idea, and what are we to do in the interim? So therefore, for those people for whom the long way doesn't work, and also for the interim, even for the people who it does work, what should they do with their struggle against their animal soul until they develop those holy emotions? We have the short way. The short way, ironically, is going to take us the next 8 chapters. It took the Alter Rebbe 2 chapters to talk about the long way. It's going to take us 8 chapters to talk about the short way. Yes, it's going to take us longer to figure out what the short way is, but ultimately, once we understand it, we'll see that it's a skill set and a strategy which we're able to use at will. It doesn't take time to develop. And in a nutshell, it's about exercising the Ava Mesuteres, the hidden love that every single one of us has for God. And this is a big idea which we'll be talking about in the following chapters, which is that every single Jewish person has within themselves a hidden love for God. And because I have that love already, I don't need to create a love, I just need to tap into it. I need to leverage it. That's something I could do at any time. Manufacturing a love takes time, but tapping into something which is pre-existing, that's something which can happen instantaneously. Now, obviously, we need to know a lot. We need to understand much more. And the basic questions that we need to answer right away are, what exactly is this hidden love all about? Where is it from? How does it operate? What are its objectives? And that's going to be the discussion in the coming chapters of Tanya. And by the time we finish, we will uncover a new strategy in how to combat the animal soul.